battle is tight. Who will rise in the heat of the night? The finish line's near, we're on the edge. Who's taking the crown? Who's falling off the ledge? Mud flies, engines scream. White knuckle drivers chase their dream. Hearts pounding, loud and roar. Bob calls it all with a thunderous roar. So thank you again for tuning in tight. BobbethTV, where we live the fight. The engines may cool, but the legend will grow. Till next time, welcome back to the show.
All right, BobbethTV is live. You know what that means. We are here live with another episode of Mudmule TV for the Knuckleheadz iRacing League. We're here in Port Royal Speedway, USA for the 410 sprint cars. We saw John Bennett there. Absolute will stand that monster into the wall. Got about 2.5 minutes of practice. Let's cut down to the track, have a look at some of these times, and we'll see what's going on. Just a minute or so to go before we get this one underway. Heat race action. John Bennett seems to have a quick time in practice. 15.563, 15.591 and 15.624 for Brian Angel and Dawson Potter. Mike Mees and Travis McDonald with a 15.692, 15.724 for top 5 spots. Then we have Brett Vanderwood, Henry Roslowski, Kent McLean, Chris Standridge and Doug Norton. I believe there's more than 10 cars registered. Let's double check that. No, there are 10 cars registered for this race. No, I just got a message from John saying hopefully you're ready to see some, hope I'm ready for some wheelies, and yeah, I replied, I did see John's beautiful wheelie just before as we came live, and I think we're going to see a lot of that, because yeah, the throttle control, the acceleration in these things, they are insane. I'm still too high. Oh my gosh. Chat screen. There we go. All right, there we go. Practice has finished. Oh, let's have a look at the points. Points have been updated. So we believe Travis McDonald may be our new points leader. As the boys roll out for qualifying. All right, yeah, Travis McDonald has moved into the point lead, 159 to 158. In third back there is Mike Moniz with 151. Fourth, Brian Angel, 144 and 129 for Chris Standridge. So still anyone's game, really. We've still got, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 races to go, not counting the championship round. So, or this round. All right, now I know there's no labels there, but just so you're aware, the first time on the leaderboard is their quick time. The second time is their most recent lap. And the third time, sorry, is their quickest lap. And then the third time was their, sorry, first time is their quickest lap. Second time is their last time. Third time is their current time. But I don't know how to turn it off. So it's sort of doubling up on some of those times. Chris Standridge, 15.598. 15.675, 15.69. Oh, hiccups, 6.97. Mike Moniz, Henry Roslowski. Tom Land is out there. He's in ninth quickest. Was he on the board before? No, he has just joined. We've got 11 drivers now. Brett Vanderwood yet to take the field. Oh no, he's out there on the track. At 6.32 for Tom Land, pushes Travis McDonald 15 at 6.52. Back down to fourth. Place is Brian Angel on our screens. No, that's Brent Vanderwood, sorry. Viola Ellis, Brent Vanderwood. And that is what we're all here for at the Speed Palace at Victory Lane, who will be taking this out at Port Royal Speedway here tonight. We've got a couple of heat races to get through first, and then we'll find out. All right, front row, Chris Standridge and Tom Land. Dawson Potter and John Bennett on that second row. Third row is going to be Henry Roslowski and Doug Norton. This will be the first race John hasn't had to take an EOL on. This time around the track, pace car, pace truck. There we go. So we'll leave the track. The boys will roll into 3 and 4. We'll get this Heat 1 race at Port Royal Speedway underway. Who is going to line up on the front of the inside row? Will it be Chris Standridge? Will it be Tom Land? Dawson Potter or John Bennett? Maybe Henry Roslowski or Doug Norton can get up there as well. We'll have to wait and see. 6 laps. Here we go. Bennett crashed into Tom Land there, sent him up into the wall. Looked like he was able to keep it off the wall, get it running again nicely. Pops it back up in there again. Chris Standridge racing the lead. These things are brutal. Look at it. That nose just wants to come up off the ground. You can see it. Tom Land has come to a stop. Got his car to the pit lane. Standridge, John Bennett, Henry Roslowski, Dawson, Potter, Doug, Norton, Tom Land in the pits. Laps remain. Now Chris is quite competitive in a sprint car. Let's wait and see how Travis McDonald goes in his heat 2 as we get to the white flag lap down that backstretch for the last time. Chris Standridge hits the inside wall to finish that race. 7 laps completed. We know, of course, Tom Land finished 4 laps down in the pits. 5 laps down, sorry. In 5th, Doug Norton from Mo Digging Mafia. Henry Roslowski in 4th, KHR's very own Dawson Potter in 3rd. J&J Motorsports and BAM Motorsports driver John Bennett in 2nd. But our cast racing's Chris Standridge will take out the victory. In Heat 1, Heat 2, it's going to be Brian Angel and Travis McDonald on the front row. Mike Manise and Brenton Vanderwood in the 2nd row. 3rd row is going to be Kent McLean. Save deal 6 laps. This will decide the outside line. All right, Pace Truck has left the track. I can see Kent McLean's sprint car just wanting to do wheel stands back there. Oh, that coffee's still too hot. Holy cow. Green flag waves, red light off we go. Travis McDonald, Brian Angel, Mike Manise, Brent Vanderwood and Kent McLean, 5-car Heat 2 field. Outside line being decided for our 35 lap main event here tonight at Port Royal Speedway. Right now, Chris Standridge will be starting on the front row. It looks like Brian Angel will be joining him. Points leader Travis McDonald will be going to the rear of field regardless of where he finishes. Which, given this order, might give the Yoda Alloy guys, Brian Angel and Brent Vanderwood, the 1-2 spot on the outside. second last lap, sorry, around the track down that backstretch. It is Brian Angel, Travis McDonald, Ken McLean, Mike Manise, Brent Vanderwood has dropped back to the 5th spot. There it is, checkered flag. Heat 1 and 2 are done and dusted. Excuse me. There we go. Brett Vanderwood from Yoda Outlaws in 5th. Mike Manise, Team Southern CMA Racing 4th. Pat Motorsports, Ken McLean in 3rd. Travis Hiccups really come at the wrong time. Travis McDonald in 2nd. Yoda Outlaws driver Brian Angel will take out the Heat 2 victory. Join the front row with Chris Standridge there. So let's get down to the grid for that one. There we go. Chris Standridge, Brian Angel, front row. John Bennett and Travis McDonald. No, John Bennett and Kent McLean, teammates on that 2nd row. And then it's going to be Dawson Potter and Mike Manise, Henry Roslowski, Brent Vanderwood, Doug Norton, and Tom Land, Kent McLean. Sorry, Travis McDonald at the rear of that field. Not bad. It's the grid on the screen. I knew I was forgetting to get rid of something. 35 laps, Port Royal Speedway. This one is going to be a doozy. All right, here we go. Pace trucks left the track. 11 cars on the track, inside, outside lines decided. Off we go and racing. Tim Brown, man, if I was there, I'd have that Travis fella upside down. Maybe you should come along there. Nah. Oh, big crash there. I saw Dawson Potter, I think it was. No, it might have been the 79, Henry Roslowski. Let's see if we can't see what happened there. That's Henry in the orange Sunoco car. A bit of contact between him and the 30. That sent him down into the wall. That will bring out our first caution. Alright, since this coffee hasn't cooled down as nearly as much as I thought it was, I'm just going to go grab a bottle of water. I won't be a sec. just lap 3 of 35. Very early stages of this feature race here for the Knuckleheadz iRacing League's Grassroots Racing Series. Front row, Cam McLean, Brian Angel, John Bennett, Chris Standridge, Brent Vanderwood, Dawson, Potter, Tom Land, Travis McDonald, Henry Roslowski, Doug Norton, and Mike Manise. That is our 11-car field. Can I turn up my audio? So the race audio, or is it the race sound or my voice that you need to turn up, Tim? Let me know which one it is and I'll fix that. Chat as well. Oh, that's YouTube. Oops, wrong one. What at Facebook? You would have seen that as well, but just in case. All right, we are back off and racing. Brian Angel, our race leader. Chris Standridge, Kent McLean in second and third. John Bennett, Dawson Potter fourth and fifth. Henry Roslowski, Brent Vanderwood, Travis McDonald, Tom Land, Mike Manise, and Doug Norton, the 11. Let's get down to the track. Let's just turn everything up a little bit. If you guys need to, you can turn it down a little bit. You're in. See how that goes. All right. Yellow flag hasn't come back out. Looks like the 8 and the 88. Brent Vanderwood and Travis McDonald in that one. Let's have a look, see if we can't see. Second caution for the night. There's Brent and Travis there. The orange 8, orange and blue 8. Orange race car with the blue 8 is Brent. And Travis is the purple and green machine. The mic. All right, let's turn the race back down a little bit. And just pump mine up a fraction more. How's that, brother? Oh, I didn't bother watching Travis's crash, but we see there he got caught up into the outside wall. I've got to install some mic filters just so that it sort of doesn't pick up certain noises lower than what it needs to be, things like that. I've been a bit slack lately. This 9:30 starts get me. All right, our points leaders all the way down the other end of the track. John Bennett, the rear of field. Travis McDonald is second, last in 10th spot there. Now I can hear that comment. Let's face it, the cars are the real show. God, now if you can hear it, us old people are bad hearing. Yeah, look, I'm one of those. Look, I don't class myself as too much as an old person, but bad hearing. Years of concerts and band live music and whatnot has wrecked my hearing. But now I have to talk and stuff. If you can hear me, oh crap! No. All right, the Speed Palace. Let's get this one back underway. Port Royal Speedway Knuckleheadz iRacing League's Grassroots Racing Series. We're in round 6. This is the last race of round 6. We had 4 races prior. Over the last 2 days, this one is to wrap up our racing week. Brian Angel, Chris Standridge on that front row. They're going to resume that battle. Kent McLean, Henry Roslowski on the second row. Dawson Potter and Mike Manise third. Tom Land and Brent Vanderwood fourth row. Travis McDonald, Doug Norton fifth row. John Bennett is at the rear of the field. see in the track map there, two very distinct, almost three very distinct groups forming. The front two, the middle pack, well now four groups because that back pack has split up a little bit as well. There's our race leader, Brian Angel, Yoda Outlaws, Kent McLean, Chris Standridge, Henry Roslowski, Dawson Potter. That is the 5. 15.906 is the quick lap of that last lap. Are these 410s? Hey, Jackson Sufong in YouTube, one of our V8 supercar drivers on Sunday nights from the 420 Austin Racing Series. Yeah, these are 410s. So this is the Knuckleheadz iRacing League. They have an on-season and an off-season. We're currently in the off-season sort of period, and this is their grassroots racing series. So the 3 or 4 admins all basically just picked a bunch of cars and tracks, and then they lumped them all together in a sort of coordinated schedule over 3 days, 5 races. And yeah, so today 410 sprint cars. Next week, however, they are off for Memorial Week, and then we're back just prior to Father's Day, where they will run the Dirt Street Stocks Pro 2 Lights on Sunday night US, Monday morning Australian, Tuesday morning Australian. They will run the Super Lates and Dirt Street Stocks. And then on the Wednesday morning Australian, they will be running at the mini stocks next. So yeah, every week's different lot of cars, basically. So if you think what these guys do on the dirt track is crazy, go back to my Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube pages, and have a look at the 420 AusSim V8 Supercar Series. We were at Mount Panorama just this last Sunday night, and it was insane. It was a lot of fun to watch. Thanks for the like also, Tim. Appreciate you, brother. All right, looks like this one's about to get back underway. Lap 10 of 35. Still 26 laps in this race, so anything can and will happen as that pace truck has left the track. Cool. What do they usually race in this league like when they aren't on the off? Generally a combination of like it can sort of change. Sometimes it's like on Sunday nights, sometimes it was like sprints and late models, then UMPs and something else, and then dirt street stocks on Tuesday nights. But yeah, pretty much UMPs, dirt street stocks, big blocks, sprint cars, late models. Oh, big crash there. That one, it looks like that might have been Henry Roslowski again. Him and Doug Norton getting into each other. Don't know if the caution came out, though. That's going to keep it green. Okay, cool. There's our race leader, Brian Angel. But yeah, they're called the Knuckleheadz iRacing League, if you want to look them up on Facebook at all, Jackson. Obviously, on the page, you will see a number of their races, so you'll sort of see what they're like and what they've run in the past. On my page, sorry. I've been broadcasting these guys for I think about 2 years now. Oh, that looks like, is it Chris Standridge or Tom Land there that spun out? I think it's Tom Land. Caution has come out. Cut under John Bennett there. Came in nice and low, but she just got too wild and too slippery there. And couldn't correct it. It ends up spinning out. Cool, been looking for a league that does either 360s or 4. Yeah, look, generally, I think it's generally the 360s. The 410s are a bit of a handful. They're actually doing quite well here tonight. But yeah, no, look, definitely check them out. Check them out. I know they do have an iRating cap for dirt stuff. So if you are quite successful on iRacing dirt in officials, then that may limit you. But no, look, check it out, man. Check it out. I'd love to have you on my screens more than once. That'd be awesome. lap 14 of, sorry, lap 13 of 435. Will be lap 14 when we get this one back underway. Awesome, man. Awesome. Actually, hang on. Let me just do this for you. We go here. Oh, that's Twitch. We want YouTube. Oh, there we go. There you go, Jackson. I just sent the link in the YouTube chat. All right, we're off and racing. Brian Angel, Ken McLean, and Chris Standridge are up the front, challenging for that top 3 podium positions. Oh, no, caution out as quickly as it came back. The 91 and the 79 involved in that one. All right, the start of the line back up, still on the 14th lap here, 15 when we get it started. Oh, here comes, oh my gosh. Looks like it will be Brian Angel and Ken McLean on that front row. Travis McDonald and Chris Standridge second row. Dawson, Potter and Mike Menees on that third row. Fourth row, Brent Vanderwood and John Bennett. Doug Norton and Tom Land on that fifth row. Henry Roslowski rounding out that sixth and final row. Here we go, Barney will drop that green flag in just a moment. These boys will fire. A couple of sprint cars got out of the way of some of the cars that were going to be behind them there. Just recognising that speed, not exactly their friend. Lap 17 to 35. This is the halfway mark. We are here. As Kate McLean keeps that race lead in check. Brian Angel second. No, Chris Standridge moves up into second. Brian Angel back to third. Mike Menez and Dawson Potter fourth and fifth. We've made it to lap 21 of 35. 15 laps remain in this 410 sprint car race. That Travis fella won't make it through tech. Yeah, look, you got to wonder, Tim. You've got to wonder. But he's back there at the rear. He's trying to keep that car off the radar. He's got it up to second or third, and then he went, no, let's get back to rear field quick. Nah, those McDonald boys are fast. We do miss Cody. He's another quick McDonald boy that we haven't seen in a while. Hope he's doing well, Cody McDonald. Brian Angel back there in third. You can see Mike Menez and Dawson Potter behind him. Chris Standridge and Kent McLean up there in front. So we're coming up on single-digit laps remain. Caution back out. That one is the 79 Henry Roslowski by the looks of it. All right, one more time around this track, lap 25 of 35. It's going to be 11 laps remain on this restart. It will be Ken McLean and Chris Standridge on that front row. Mike Menez and Brian Angel second. Third row, Tom Landon, Dawson Potter, Brent Vanderwood and John Bennett on that fourth row. Fifth row, Henry Roslowski and Doug Norton. Travis McDonald and on that sixth and final row by himself. Or so laps remaining. Can Travis McDonald race his way back into it? Would John take that points lead back after just one race of not having it? We'll find out. Oh, there's another big crash. That is most certainly going to call out another caution. All right, I'll be back in one moment. right, it's going to be lap 26:35 remaining. Sorry, lap 26 remaining of 35. I'll get it around the right order in a moment. That means 10 laps to go when we get this race started. Ken McLean and Chris Standridge still that front row. Tom Lander, John Bennett, second row. Dawson Potter and Travis McDonald. Brian Angel, Henry Roslowski, Brent Vanderwood is the remaining driver. Mike Manise still in the pits. Oh no, here comes Mike now. There he is. I was going to say, will we see him sort of roll out onto the track in time? We do. This keeps up here. There's going to be some fights in the pit. Yeah, look, we'll be cutting to the pits if that is the case. The sprints have traditionally been a bit of a cautious racing series, especially the 410s, a little bit hard to keep under control, keep tame. All right, off we go and racing. 10 laps remain. How many of these 10 laps will we get in this green run? At least one, so 9 to go. Still having a few blinking issues there. Caution has come out. Maybe the 79 and the 30, not sure there. Let's have a look. Yeah, it does look like that is the case. There's the 79 and the 30, got a bit of contact there. The 88 tried to get past and he did. Nice move there by Travis McDonald. Unfortunately, the 79 got stuck and just went straight up the track. Is that a setting issue? What happened there? Looked like the car just didn't set. Might have hit that wall and just skidded out. Mike Mees and Henry Roslowski currently in the pits. Oh. That's better. Roslowski, Mike Manise still in the pits. I wonder if they will come back out or if they had to tow. If they towed, then it's going to be at least a minute and a half before they can choose to come back out. Oh, Kenneth, thanks for the like. Appreciate you, brother. Let's see if Ken can get it done out there on the track. All right. 29 of 35. We are getting very close to our dying stages of laps. Just a handful remain. Dawson Potter currently in sixth place, but crashes into, couldn't quite see who he came into contact with. I think it was Brian Angel. And that has brought out our latest caution. It's going to be 5 to go when we get this one back underway. Brian Angel, Henry Roslowski still in the pits. Doug Norton a lap down, so he's in 10th between them. But Kent McLean on that front row for our latest restart. Chris Standridge, second row. Tom Land, John Bennett, Travis McDonald, Brett Vanderwood, Mike Menez, Dawson Potter, and then, of course, Brian Angel, Doug Norton, Henry Roslowski. Yes, there's going to be a fight, says Tim Brown. Nine cars still on the track. Doug should get that ninth place spot coming around soon. Oh, down the backstretch, pace car into the pits. We're going to get this one underway. Single file restart with 5 remaining. Brian Angel, I was going to say, Brian Angel needs to start rolling forward if he wants to maintain that 9th position. But here comes the lads. He gets fired just out of 1 and 2 as the guys fire on the start-finish line. Tom Land that time straight into another caution. All right, looks like we'll get this one going in just a second. Pace truck has left the track, single file restart. Will be lap 32 of 35, 4 laps remain. Kent McLean, Chris Standridge, John Bennett, Travis McDonald, Brent Vanderwood, Mike Menez, Dawson Potter, Brian Angel, Doug Norton is the 9 cars on the field. Tom Land and Henry Roslowski currently in the pits. Chris and Kent battling it out quite intently up the front there. Chris not quite got that run. Kent up high, able to get that momentum built up. We're going to stick with the front runners here. Ken McLean, Chris Standridge, John Bennett, Travis McDonald, Brent Vanderwood, the top 5. Just in case we get something actiony happening up here up the front. And Chris come back. He's hit that outfield wall on the straightaway, so I think that might slow him down a little bit with 2 laps remaining. So we come into 3 and 4 for that second last time. We're officially going to have a finish here. White flag lap. There we go. Bam Motorsports, Kent McLean gets the victory here at Port Royal Speedway. is the king of the Speed Palace here tonight, popping a few wheel stands as we await our feature results. So we know Henry Roslowski finished in 11th, Tom Land 10th, Bam Motorsports. What? Huh? I'm confused. Why are the results saying Chris Standridge won when Kent McLean won? Let's just have a look at the official results. Yeah, Kent McLean a lap down. Why? I'm confused. All right, so the results as I know them: Henry Roslowski in 11th, Tom Land in 10th, Brian Angel 9th, 8th, Doug Norton, Doug Norton in 8th, Dawson Potter in 7th, Brett Vanderwood in 6th, Mike Moniz finished 5th, Travis McDonald 4th, John Bennett 3rd, Chris Standridge 2nd, and Kent McLean 1st. But for some reason, it's got Chris Standridge as our winner on the screen with Kent McLean a lap down. Let's go to the Discord. We'll see what's going on. We'll find out. Let's see who drops in. We'll wait and see. Maybe, no, there's Kent. All right, Kent, I don't know if there's any confusion on your side of the fence, but I'm looking at my telemetry, and my telemetry software tells me you won that race. However, when I use the software to bring up the results on our screen, it has you as a lap down in 9th and Chris Standridge as the winner.
Yeah, so apparently I just got told I went when I did my little victory back and forth crap. I guess apparently not everybody was past the finish line, so it gave me a
Ah,
black flag.
That's so the turnaround wheel stand black flags you gave you that 30-second penalty was enough to push you back down. All right, so I assume they're going to scrap that black flag. The fact that you're in the booth with me right now says that you are the winner
Yeah.
of the 410 sprint cars here at Port Royal Speedway. I think John Bennett, teammate, definitely won the wheel stand competition. I think everyone had some wonderful entries in the wheel stand competition here tonight, but John Bennett absolutely just having trouble keeping those front wheels on the ground. How did you go? Was it like did you have to put like a tennis ball or an egg under the throttle to keep it sort of in control? What was the story for tonight?
Well, I would ease into it, stand on it. If it started to rear up, I would just give about half throttle and then stand back on it again, and then it would set and go. But if you just stood on it, it just you'd see nothing but sky.
Yep, yep. No, we definitely a lot of those restarts. If it wasn't the front wheels coming up off the ground or that nose just poking up a little bit, watching the guys just try and wash off a little bit of speed using the steering wheel. Obviously, the wheel just as good as the accelerator and the brakes as controlling your speed. So we saw a few guys sort of just give it that little old wiggle to try and sort of wash a bit of that speed off and keep it straight. But it looked like for the most part that if you were lucky, you were in control setting, but pretty much it seemed to be control it as best you could out of exits 4 and 2, and then hope that you've got that right sort of left right correction as you're coming into 1 and 3. Were there any times where you thought I've got this back to front and this is not going to go well?
Well, every time I'd get a decent lead, the caution would come out, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna burn my tires up, And I know how John is, and Chris is fast in these. And I'm like, man,
Hmm.
if I burn my tires up, they're gonna get me. So yeah, I mean, and then the bump in 1 and 2, it would almost sling you in the wall. It just upset the car so much. But I finally, when I pulled away from Brian, I finally figured out if I could just get my right rear right over that berm and in the marbles, it would just hook up and go. And that was the line I was running. That before the caution came out, I was pulling away pretty good, but and then it really slicked over and it was hard. The cushion was right against the wall, so you had to be real careful.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. Now it looked like, well, looking at the track itself, it didn't look like it was too crazy slick wise. I don't see too much dark down low. But I saw a couple of guys coming in low, but it looked like obviously it was a little bit hard to judge exactly how little speed that you sort of needed on that low line, and the car was sort of the sprint car was getting a bit loose, spinning out a little bit. Was that the track? Was that just the fact that these cars just carry so much speed that there really is a difference between sort of that middle and low line at the least?
Yeah, because I mean, you're running probably 130 to 140. So you trying to slow down to get down low to stay in that moisture, you just kill your momentum coming out of the corner. So the high line was more preferred. I know when I got the lead from Brian, I just once I got the car set in the corner down low, I just held it to the floor and luckily I got enough run on him to I think he jumped the berm and that gave me enough to get in front of him and get back up to the high side. But yeah, the low line wasn't really there. I mean, it was to an extent, but you would just basically it's more of a slider line. You'd have to run it past somebody.
Mm.
But I heard John. They were saying John was down low, so I don't. He may have been making it work. So.
Well, that's the thing. We do see that. We can see we see sometimes with the races, some people having a bit of a difficulty with certain lines, and then you'll see one or two other people hitting it and making it look easy. And I sort of blame them for the other guys failing on that because they see that racing, and they go, oh, well, look, there must be something down there because he's hitting it and he's doing fine. And but there's just something different about the entry, about the set that they do compared to what some of the others are doing. And it just wasn't working out. We saw another issue was obviously you mentioned it earlier, the change in momentum. So we had some guys who just lost a bit of momentum in turns, guys behind them not able to check up. Sprint cars they don't have brakes, and let's face it, if they do come to a complete stop, you're in trouble. So it's really hard to sort of avoid those cars as they do pull up. And then we saw the similar issue from yesterday where some of those cars were able to pull up and get out of the way, but then that was also causing that accordion effect sort of flow on back down through the field. But for the most part, geez, you guys, it was a race. The 410's no easy machine to tame. And I think even watching you get some good runs, I don't think you were sort of always 100% in control of that race car. That sprint car always left a little bit sort of unknown out there on the track, and I think that's the exciting part about them.
Oh, it is. They are a handful, and I mean they're very unpredictable how how they go in. If you go in the corner wrong, you're going to be all squirrely, and it's hard to get it back going straight. But yeah, it was definitely a fun race.
Yep, no, definitely was, and yeah, I imagine those knuckles only just starting to get a bit of colour back into them around it now for a lot of the guys on the track. So, a good way to end the racing week. Well, we've got the week off next week, so enjoy that Memorial Day coming up next week for the Americans in our group, which is everyone bar pretty much me and Henry. Um, and then we're back again the week after, but then we have another week off for Father's Day. So just over the next 3 weeks, only the 1 week of racing. So enjoy that time off. Love to the family, and I hope you have a great Memorial weekend and celebrate it well and safely, and come back and show the boys how it's done once you return.
I appreciate it, Bob.
All right, mate. Before we let you go, though, and I realised I sort of wrapped up without wrapping you up, friends, family, sponsors, who do you need to give a shout out to for making all this possible?
Yeah, the wife and kids, KP Plumbing Services, KHR, all the admins of the group, all the members, you, Bob. We, like I say, each time I'm in here, we all come together and make this thing possible. So it's awesome.
No, definitely is. And I do a Sunday night Australian V8 supercar series that I recently picked up, and one of those drivers was checking you guys out, and he was like, "Oh, I want a part of this." So, once again, you guys just proving that you are the place to be, the place to race. At the moment people see what you have got going on here, they want a part of it, and that's just a testament to yourself, John, Josh, Dawson, everyone, Travis, all the boys that sort of go into putting this together.
Yeah, it definitely takes a village, but I mean, John handles a lot of it, and Wayne, and they do a great job. So other ones we try to fill in as we can and help as much as we can, but they definitely do a great job here.
Could not agree more, my man. All right, I will let you go. Bragging rights for 2 weeks now, obviously with this one. So congratulations, brother. As I say, have a very safe and happy week off next week, and we'll see you again in a fortnight.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. All right, that was our winner there, Kent McLean. So if you're looking at the leaderboard there on the screens, Kent McLean finished in 9th on there. That is because as he passed the finish line and turned his car around to celebrate, unfortunately, other cars had not finished their laps and it had black flagged him, but they will manually override that. Travis McDonald kept his car outside the top 3 to avoid the scales, says Tim Brown. Yeah, 4th place officially for Travis McDonald. John Bennett got 2nd, so he will take over that points lead again as from the start of week 7 in the racing, which will be in 2 weeks. All right, guys and girls, thank you so much for watching. Look, if you do enjoy what I do, I am live on Twitch this evening, Australian time, around 9 o'clock. So in about 13 hours, 12, 11, 13 hours, somewhere in that vicinity, with my Twitch partner in crime, Shrubgod. I'm not sure what we'll be playing, but it'll be something at co-op. But I will also be back Friday night with Shrubgod, possibly with Griff the Merciless as well. Got something we're cooking up. And back Sunday night for the V8 Supercars 420 Oz Sim Racing. And then, yeah, we'll do it all over again. Thank you so much for coming out and watching, guys and girls. My name is Bob. Love you all. Boy.